So State of Play came and gone, and a lot of people are down on it. A lot of people are saying this was bad, this was terrible. And I was looking at it, and I looked at it from both sides. If you're a big PSVR fan, which there's only so many sold, so I know it's going to be outweighed. You loved it. If you like PSVR games, you're really going to enjoy it. If you're not really into PSVR and you wanted a lot of first-party exclusive games to be released, you're going to be kind of bummed out about it. Now, I watched it. I thought it was pretty cool. There was a lot of VR games, more than what I was anticipating. There was a couple games that I was really looking forward to possibly being released or having a release day. Obviously, a lot of people will say, pretty much on Death Stranding, and then you have your Last of Us 2, and then your Ghost of Tsushima. But I was looking at like some of the other ones like Dreams and Medieval and other stuff that was going to come to the VR. I actually was looking did this, and I just did a video recently today about it, to where I was thinking it was going to focus more on VR. I mean, that's what they were talking about with the PlayStation 5. I honestly believe that, we're in the middle of where all these games are being dropped at. Obviously, April starts the new year for Sony, so I'm seeing them bringing another State of Play video at the end of April or the end of May to really outline the summer heavy and the fall heavy, and then they're probably going to release some dates. Now, I understand this is their first video. A lot of people are already saying, oh, it wasn't that good. They showed us stuff from Iron Man VR, which a lot of people were probably psyched out. I thought it was a new, game that maybe Insomniac was making or somebody else was going to make, like the Spider-Man. And then when I seen VR, I thought that was still pretty cool. A lot of people are really, putting their eggs in one basket and getting overhyped for something that's really not going to be that big. We're at the end of the PlayStation 4's life cycle, so if you're expecting all these great games to be released, I see some of these games possibly getting announced at the end of the year or the first of next year when the PlayStation 5 is going to be hitting. It's going to be one of them generational console games to where you're going to buy it on the PlayStation 4 and you can still buy a version of it on the PlayStation 5. I believe that's what a lot of these games at the end are going to be like, just like Grand Theft Auto 5 was and Last of Us on the PlayStation 3. But going forward, when I was looking at some of the games, you got your update. They were showing you just old school love from Crash Team Racing. A lot of people are like, well, okay, we already knew about it. That's cool, but like that was a big time PlayStation game back in the day. So it's good to see that it's coming. I know a lot of people already know it's coming, but like people are saying, oh, it wasn't that good. Mortal Kombat, they showed a little bit more of the story mode, which was okay. Mortal Kombat's pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat anymore just because I've played every single one from the very first one on the, Sega Genesis and up and the arcades and all that. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool and all, but it's a game that you'll play. It's hyped up really big and then it dies out within a couple months. Maybe I'm just me being me, but I'm not a big fan over it. Days Gone, they showed a little bit more on the story mode, which was really cool. A lot of people are kind of down about this game. I think this game's going to be pretty good, but then again, I'm going to play it when it comes out, and if it's good, it's good. If it's not, I'm going to do a review on it, and I'm going to let you guys know. But a lot of the other games that came out, like Concrete Genie, looked kind of cool. It didn't give you a release date, but it did look kind of cool. The Freddy's game, I know my kids like that kind of stuff for VR. There was a lot of cool VR games possibly coming. There's a No Man's Sky being updated free for VR. And a lot of people just may be bummed out that it was just VR mostly games. And I can look at it from that standpoint and say, man, I wish they would have showed some other great big time first party exclusive titles. But you know what? It's still March. It's still early. There's going to be tons of stuff. And this ain't Damage Control. I honestly, it was 50-50. I like the PlayStation VR. I got it, and I've gotten a lot of great games. It's pretty fun. And I like just playing regular story-driven and, even big-time first-party exclusive games. So not to see them or Medieval, we know it's coming. We know all this other stuff is in the works. A lot of people, I think, are just getting overworked about the date. Even if it said it was dropping in October, it's still you have to wait until October to play the game. I mean, were people expecting Death Stranding and Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima to be dropped in June? I'm not. I mean, these games are a lot more harder to difficult and developing for. I mean, you got to understand, this ain't just some quick, Yoshi game or some quick, Sea of Thieves and State of Decay where they just throw that shit around. And that's not a shot. I'm just saying, A lot of these games take a lot more time to develop for because they're putting a lot more time and effort into the game than most other companies are doing for their games. I'm not saying anything bad about Nintendo or whatever, but I mean, people are bitching about this State of Decay, and it's like, well, the last Nintendo Direct I seen, a lot of people were saying they were excited. The only things they were excited about was a Xbox game that was considered an indie game. I think it was created by only 2 people in Cuphead, which is a fun game. So that's a game that's coming. It's not even a new IP. And then a Zelda and Link add-on to pretty much Crypto Dancer, and Hyrule, game, which looks cool, but it's like them are the only 2 things that I remembered from it. A lot of the indie shit games that look like 8-bit, which is fine. I don't mind some of the indie games. Some of them looked okay, but like when I think of the PlayStation, I'm thinking of more adult video games or teenager and up video games. Some of them were for kids, some of them weren't. So I really think they could focus on some first-party releases. I'm with a lot of people on that, but to say that it was bad, it wasn't that bad. It was their first video. Why do people say that and jump to conclusions? I'm sure they're going to make a video on it. There's a lot of people probably already making videos on it and giving their 2 cents. Hell, there was people out there saying they don't even own PlayStation VR, and they were talking about it like they knew. So it's like some of the people out there that are just hating to hate or just saying that Sony didn't do that well. It wasn't the best, but then again, I've watched a ton of other releases with Xbox and Nintendo as well, and it's not like mind-blowing, okay? They're not here to fake anything or say, oh, before we go, we're going to release this last game. I mean, Nintendo does that because they got a bunch of 8-year-olds sitting around the TV watching. I mean, and they think it's over, and then it's like a surprise. Okay, Sony was playing vulgar music with Mortal Kombat, which is, in my opinion, pretty cool because Mortal Kombat means they're showing you a bloody, gory fighter. So it's just weird to see so many people. Like, I mean, it's understandable. They have their opinions and stuff, but when I looked at this, I didn't look at anything really bad. I seen some stuff that, yes, was, they've already talked about in previous times, but the Five Nights at Freddy's game, yeah, a lot of kids like that. A lot of teenagers may like that. A new game called Observation looked pretty cool. A lot of people didn't talk about that as well. Blood and Truth is another VR game that a lot of people were waiting on. The Iron Man VR, Mortal Kombat. And then you have Ready, Set, Heroes, which is a smaller indie game, but it looked pretty cool. And then No Man's Sky add-on. There was numerous things that they added. Concrete Genie I've been actually waiting on. I know it's not going to be a huge game, and not everybody's going to want that game. But let's face it, a lot of the people that are saying, oh, Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding and all this other stuff, it's like people talk about certain things because for views and clicks. They're not really talking about it because they really want to play it. Even with the the VR game that's very hard to find, very expensive if you get it physical, which is Job Simulator, there's a Vacation Simulator. So to say that it's not that great of a state of play, I mean, it's up and down. It's 50-50. I mean, I'm looking at the video right here, and it says 136,000 views, honestly, and it has 8,700 likes to 11,000 dislikes. Out of 136,000 people. I mean, that's just a small percentage. I know it'll go up slowly, but to sit there and say that it was horrible, it wasn't that bad. If you're a PlayStation VR fan, you liked it. If you're not, you really didn't like it. And I understand there's more just base console or PlayStation fans than there are VR fans. But then again, you got to understand that they were talking about the PlayStation 5 possibly going and dealing more with PlayStation VR as well and spending more time on their exclusives. Do you want them to rush this game? Do you want them to give you a release date and then you get hyped up about it and then they have to postpone it? I think they're taking their time so that they're not rushing anything. That's the biggest thing that I take away that a lot of people may not look at is I look at these games and I say, okay, do we want a release date at October, and then in October they postpone it again for another 3 months or half a year? Do we really want that? And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, they're not showing up at E3. Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They're going to let other companies play their cards because Sony's in the lead. It's not like they have to worry about anything. Now, I'm not saying that to be cocky or arrogant or to defend Sony. I'm just saying if you were in the lead, why would you want to show up to E3 and display a new console first? You would let the other companies do it to see how investors will look at it, to see how the fans and to see how developers will look at the new streaming all-service box that Xbox Cloud or Xbox 2 wants to bring. And then their other boxes, see what kind of specs they have, to see how the community or how well it's liked or taken in. And then if they were doing something like that, they may change it. So, I mean, it's a good business strategy. A lot of fans that keep saying, why not? Is E3 worth it? Or E3, why are they pulling out and all this? Dude, E3 sucks. Like, do I have to be real? Like, E3, there's so many spoilers like months or weeks before E3 or even days before. You already know what's all going to be shown. And then it's a lackluster with third-party big-time AAA developers and publishers that are out here just to show you a bunch of games that everybody's going to make every year. You got your Assassin's Creed, your Black Ops, and all your other shit. I mean, Maddens and all that. I mean, that's all it is. Okay, so to sit there and say that State of Play, you know, a lot of people are already dogging it. It wasn't the best, but it's the first one. Who's to say in May they don't come out and they release something like Death Stranding's coming in October or November? Who's to say that they won't release a Ghost of Tsushima in the end of summer or in December or, you know, in their fall seasons? You know there's going to be some big games coming this year because that's how they're going to end out the season. They're going to definitely be doing that, especially when it comes to the winter and fall or fall and winter seasons. You know that Sony's going to be bringing some big-time heavy hitters. And with the PlayStation 5 right around the corner, a lot of the developers are working on PlayStation 5 games. It's like we're expecting the PlayStation 4 to be bringing new immersive games every time. And I get that. If you just recently bought a PS4, you know, you're at the end of the life cycle. It's cool, but like, don't expect to have another 15 first-party exclusives for the PlayStation 4. That's ridiculous to think like that as even a consumer. So the PlayStation VR is selling really well for what it is. You can also hook it up, like I said, to PC and do other stuff too, which is making an improvement. But to sit there, like I said, and I hate to repeat myself, to say it sucks is ridiculous for one. For one direct, whatever you want to call it, state of play. And everybody's going to have their opinions. That's fine. You're entitled to them. Leave them down in the comments. Let me know what you guys really think about it. They did show us some games that we already knew about, obviously, but there were a couple of them that we didn't know about that were new and mostly VR. And then there was another one that the observation that looks kind of cool. But guys, I want to know what you guys think of it. Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys are new, hit the subscribe button. If you guys are returning, thank you guys for all the support. I'll see you guys on the next video. I love you very much. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you Wednesday. Peace.